For 2 weeks during March, the preschoolers learned about different styles of art and about the artist who created this artwork. Some artists we learned about have very famous works of art, and others are not as well known. Our goal was to expose the preschoolers to lots of different forms of art, from painting to sculpture. We hope you enjoy their creations. Our first artist was Cassatt. She started as an impressionist artist, and she favored women and children as her subjects. She used copper plates to make prints of her artwork. Preschoolers' version of printmaking involved painting on an easel, then placing the paper over the paint, pressing down, and removing the paper. Viola, a print was made. We used textured sign paper to get a unique effect. These are the finished projects. George Seurat is known for his unique paintings using small dots or tiny strokes of color. This technique is commonly known as Pointillism. The 3-year-old class used Q-tips dipped in paint to create small dots on a clover with green paint. We think the finished project looks great. Alma Thomas is an African-American painter known for colorful abstract compositions using circular and linear form. She was the first person to graduate from Washington, D.C.'s Howard University Fine Arts Department in 1924. The 4-year-olds made colorful circles by dipping a wine cork in paint and stamping it onto the paper. We think our circles look very much like Alma Thomas's. Gustav Klimt is an Austrian artist who defined Art Nouveau. He used jeweled tones to create women in his artwork and also painted ornate squared format landscapes and mythical depictions of nature. We chose to recreate the Tree of Life. The preschoolers were given 6 gold pipe cleaners and twisted them into a tree form. A butterfly was placed on the branch to represent life. Love the uniqueness of each of these creations. Alexander Calder was an American artist best known for the invention of the mobile and wire sculptures. Over the course of 70 years, he produced paintings, standing mobiles, monumental outdoor sculptures, works on paper, and jewelry. We chose to have the 4-year-olds create paper sculptures. They were given strips of all kinds of paper and created their own paper creations. The finished artwork is very abstract and 3D. Weren't they creative? Marc Chagall was a French-Russian artist whose work was associated with several major artistic styles. In addition to his paintings, Chagall was also noticed for his vibrant works in stained glass. He has an installation of 12 stained glass windows in a medical center in Jerusalem, Israel. For our project, the children used bright colored markers to color on clear cellophane. After the marker dried, a black cutout was placed over the cellophane and stained glass windows were created. We really appreciate the uniqueness of each stained glass window. Robinson Blair was an American artist, animator, and designer. She is best known for producing art and animation for the Walt Disney Company, drawing concept art for such films as Alice in Wonderland, Peter Pan, and Cinderella. The 3-year-old classes used foam shapes on blue paper to make buildings similar to Disney's It's a Small World. Although you and I may not see buildings in these creations, remember, art is in the eye of the beholder. Our next artist is Paul Cezanne. He was a French painter who had a fascination with color, light, pictorial space, and how we see it. Most often his style of painting is called still life. He tried to capture the full complexity of how our eyes take in what is in front of us. The 4-year-olds created their own version of still life with apples. There were fresh apples on the table for them to look at. 3 apples were drawn on a piece of white paper, and each child was given a small amount of red and yellow paint and a paintbrush. Our still life with apples look great. Dale Chihuly is an American glass sculptor. He started his career with weaving, where he incorporated glass shards into his tapestries. Somehow this led to glass blowing. He uses gravity and centrifugal force to create his glass works. He enjoys the lack of symmetry and the irregularities this allows. To create our glass blowing projects, the 3-year-olds used plastic domed lids and painted them with acrylic paints. After the paint dried, the lids were placed in a hot oven to be melted. We think the finished projects are amazingly close to the real thing. The final artist was Salvador Dali, the Spanish surrealist, renowned for his technical skill, precise draftsmanship, and striking and bizarre images. His most famous and first painting, The Persistence of Memory, is the one the preschoolers recreated. They were given paper plates that were bent to appear to be melting and asked to color the plate any color. Next, they were given numbers that were cut in a font that also resembled melting. These numbers were placed on the clock wherever the children chose to put them. Hands were cut out and attached, some 3D, some not. We think the preschoolers' clocks look very surreal.